Welcome to my channel, Ascend Above. My name is Austin, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the astrology from August 21st until August 27th. There's a lot going on this week, so we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into this video. Thank you all for being here, and if you're newer to the channel, be sure to subscribe, click the notification button bell. Let's go ahead and jump in. So the key transits this week, well, we're all probably already hearing about it as well. Mercury will go retrograde on August 23rd. We have the sun coming into Virgo, which will be, sorry, I have the key transits right here. I gotta write them down because there's a lot of them. Sun's going to be coming into Virgo on the 23rd as well, when Mercury also is going retrograde. We're going to have Venus square Jupiter. We're going to have Mars opposed Neptune. We're going to have Mars trine Pluto. And then we're going to have Mars switch signs from Virgo into Libra. And then we end the week as well with Sun opposed Saturn. So we're going to just go ahead and jump into this. And the first things first, I'll kind of flow with this real quick and just let you know what I think about this Mercury retrograde for the ones that are curious, or if you're wondering if this is going to be a bad Mercury retrograde or if there's anything scary coming. To be honest, no, but it all depends as well what's going on in your chart, right? What are the aspects that Mercury is making when it's retrograde, and what are the aspects in the chart, right, with your personal chart? However, if we just look at the transits and like what Mercury's doing with this retrograde, well, Mercury's going to retrograde back. It's going to trine Jupiter, and it's also going to conjunct the sun, conjunct the sun. And so Mercury isn't really making any bad aspects. It's just retrograde. In fact, I feel with this Mercury retrograde, this is giving us the gift, especially with Mercury retrograde, coming back to trine Jupiter. And Mercury and Jupiter have a very special relationship. They actually represent the dyad of participation and association, right? And I'm going to expand upon that a little later, but, Mercury retrograde, of course, there's going to be things that pop up, maybe miscommunications, or maybe we have to go back and do some things, or maybe we make some mistakes, or maybe our electronics mess up, or maybe our ex texts us. So, Mercury's the trickster, so it's always going to throw something, right? Especially in retrograde. So, yeah, but with that trine to Jupiter, though, it really is, we're sort of maybe having to relook at some things, how we can be more efficient with it being in Virgo, right? Mercury, and it's dignified home, right? Like Virgo. Where we can be more efficient, more productive, where we can be more organized, and how we can figure out how to get the most out of our time when it comes to task management, right? Not about being busy, but about being productive, right? Because busyness can just be a distraction, right? Just trying to distract yourself, which is the opposite of Virgo, which is Neptune. So, but the trine to Jupiter is showing us again, like, it could show up and manifest in a way like it shows us, how we can make something better by kind of going back over something that we missed. And the thing that we missed may actually be the thing that makes everything better, right? Or gives us the understanding and allows us to be able to understand better. So I don't think this Mercury retrograde is going to be a bad one. It's going to come back as well to conjunct the sun, conjunct the sun. And anytime you got a conjunct, especially with Mercury, right? The conjunction of the sun with Mercury, anytime it's at 0, and as far as like the orb, and, this is the solar potential coming through Mercury, right? So it's peak expression of the mercurial energies with the sun. And with it being in Virgo, well, our minds are very much geared toward being practical, very much geared toward figuring out where we can be more efficient, where we're having to be more patient, where we need to be more detail-oriented, right? So that's kind of like what I see with this Mercury retrograde. It's really us really getting our shit together in a way, and I think that's the gift of it all, if I'm being honest with you. So, yeah, Mercury retrograde, just time to maybe slow down and a lot more introspection and reflectiveness going on with the intellect rather than externally being applicable. Does that make sense? So yeah, that's what I think about this Mercury retrograde. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to know. And I think I feel like this one's going to be not as serious as the other ones. But hey, I could be wrong. But looking at the astrology never lies. So So yeah, let's just go ahead and actually jump into the charts. And I've already did this video, but it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes, and time just flew by. And that's much to do with Mars opposing Neptune. We're starting to oppose Neptune, and we're just going to go ahead and jump in, and then we're going to talk about that here. You know. Are you in the flow? And is time going fast, or or is everything just very methodical and just slow? And so let's see. I'm just fucking around right now, but all right, let's go ahead and jump in, my friends. I'm going to switch it over to the charts, and I just want to say thank you all again for being here. All right, so here we go. We're going to start this off here, and I actually need to pull this up too. This is kind of like my little sheet here to show me, what's going on, or the transits and stuff. So here we go, my friends. Let's go ahead and jump in here. So first things first, let me move this down here. August 21st. So here we are. And I'm going to pull up my little pin here that I have. So here we are. Let me actually erase that. I don't know how that got there. If I can. 1 second, y'all. This is a blunder. Maybe I'll just blame this one on Mercury. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to blame Mercury. Might as well be me. Or whatever. Anyways, let's just jump into this. It's making me... It's a waste of energy. All right, so as of today, August 21st, when I'm uploading this video, now it depends on what time I upload it. So maybe this transit, particularly right here, already happened. But before we kind of get into the moon transit, let's talk about this first. So we're sort of already dealing with Venus right here, right? Retrograde, squaring Jupiter. Now, it's not exact yet, but that orb is really tight. I mean, it's at the same degree, right? It won't be exact until the 22nd, which is tomorrow. But we can already start to feel this. And one thing with Venus square Jupiter is it can bring an inflation, right? So it wouldn't surprise me on the news they're talking about inflation, or about money and resources and stuff like that, because Venus deals with money and resources and our values and our possessions and all that stuff. And Taurus, does deal with prosperity, and Jupiter does deal with the expansion of society. Well, there's a square here. There's not enough, right? But let's just talk about on a personal level, right? Where Venus square Jupiter can bring inflation and overindulgence, right? So it's important to not be trying to keep up with the Joneses, I would say, with this, right? Yes, this any type of Venus square, Venus squares they're square. It's a square, but Venus is it's not as bad as other squares, like a Mars square or something. So yes, this can bring in a lot of over optimistic energy or optimistic energy, but it's important to really stay grounded, right, and still stay efficient and practical with this Mercury here in Virgo that's going to retrograde here in a few days, and also with Mars, right? Because this is where we can actually spend a little too much or overdo things here, or take things maybe to the extreme and then regret them later, right? And another thing that's going on with this sun, with this moon, I apologize, with this moon in Libra, is that at the same time it's making, at the same time this is going on, we have this moon in Libra that is making a sextile to the sun in Leo. And at the same time as well, you see this right here. You see this. So I lost my place. Okay, sorry, y'all. So the moon. So that's what's going on with Venus square Jupiter. All right, get it together, Austin. All right, I got y'all, I promise. So the moon squaring Jupiter. God, the moon square Pluto. Why can't I talk? So the moon squaring Pluto here. But at the same time, it's also making a sextile to the sun in Leo. Now, this right here is going to be bringing in harmony, right? And creativity. And with the Libra, Leo synergy here, this is really grace, harmony, balance, fairness. However, and just easy energy just to adjust to as we kind of go through our day. Energies are very much in sync and synergizing well. But this moon square Pluto is where we could kind of have some problems here. And so I think it's important with this moon square Pluto this can show up and manifest in ways to where power struggles come up, because Libra deals with relationships, and it's our relationship to everything, right? Because Libra has a sensitivity to seeing contrasted differences and knows how to adjust and balance those. And so that's where the moon is right now, and it's squaring Pluto, and Pluto in Capricorn has been, obliterating and destroying structures that are no longer fit, right, for the new systems of the world and our lives. And we're all trying to cosmically integrate into the whole scheme of the universe and understand our particular place as well in this universe. And I'm talking esoteric with Pluto right now, so I can give you a little bit of understanding here that, yes, things are feeling quite nice, but also at the same time, this is where we're also going to see the imbalances of power, imbalances of whether that's in our relationships or whatever the case might be, where things aren't fair. And we're going to have to not be afraid to stand up for ourselves, not be afraid to express ourselves, and to also let go of the things in our life that are blocking things from being harmony, right? That aren't allowing harmony. So, and that could be with relationships, that could be with a relationship with yourself, to a situation, whatever the case might be. There's definitely transformation that's trying to take place, and we really have to pinpoint where the imbalance is. So be aware of that. Later on through the day of today, the 21st, we're going to have the moon come into Scorpio, and the moon's going to come into Scorpio at 6:22 p.m. And I'm just kind of going on. It's not the exact time up here, but it's basically the same where the aspect is. So this moon is now in Scorpio for the day. And moon in Scorpio, this is where our desires become a little bit more heightened. Our emotions become heightened. There's this defiantness with the moon in Scorpio that wants to seek out its pleasures and its desires, right? And so, the intensity is now in the mix now with this moon in Scorpio. So let's go to the 22nd. And also too, as I was saying earlier, Venus is squaring Jupiter, and also what's starting to go on as well, and what's starting to form is Mars is opposing Neptune here. And that'll be exact. I believe it's actually tomorrow, but on the 22nd, but it's pretty much already there. And so this is when we need to, I'm going to talk about this in the next slide, but this is something that is going on. And Mars opposed Neptune can bring a little bit of confusion, because what's really trying to go on is like Mars is trying to define things and is trying to figure out the most efficient and most productive way to get things done or to go about its task. But with Neptune in the mix opposing it, Neptune in Pisces is a total opposite of this Mars and Pluto, or this Mars and Virgo. You can tell Mercury stationed, right? So things are a little bit scattered, unorganized, but we still have to manage what we can manage in the moment, and understand that, to sort of go with the flow. And, don't be mad if things don't go perfectly according to plan or you mess up. Even me, like, I'm tripping over my words and shit. I'm not going to sit here and trip out about the shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to understand, Neptune's in the mix here, Have some grace, right? Have some compassion with Neptune for yourself, right? You can't always be perfect. Things can't always be perfect. Okay, and we'll talk more about what's building up with this as well, because there's some other things. So let's go to August 22nd here, which is tomorrow. And this is when Venus will be squaring Jupiter exact. And that's going to be at 7:13 a.m. And we see down here Venus squaring Jupiter, and that's exact. So again, already what I was saying about Venus and Jupiter, it's just today it's exact, and it's just more, the energy is more heightened. So, you know, over extravagance, you know, overindulgence, be aware of that, and trying to keep up with the Joneses. And this is also you can also be feeling like, damn, I want to go out and I want to participate and have fun with Jupiter and do things and grow and expand. However, it's like, I don't have, or you may not be feeling like you're receiving what really you need at the time. So it could kind of bring that energy as well. You know, so just be aware of that. So let's jump in here to Mars opposed Neptune. And yeah, it's exact here today as well with the Venus square Jupiter. You know, this is where we can also like escape here. So you see, whoops, let me put this back on because I am not gonna. So you see here, now Mars is officially opposing Neptune, but that's gonna be, it'll be officially opposing at 3. So let me just move the time here. If you're wondering why I'm talking fast, because I already did this video and it was just way too long. So I'm just trying not to have it too long and kind of just get straight to the point, you know. So let's take a look here. Alrighty. So here, right here. And I want to make it so that you can see it. So yeah, here we go. So Mars is now, or Mars is basically right here opposing Neptune, right? While Venus is squaring Jupiter. See, everything is just exact at this time. I was just talking about this, you know, I just brought up this energy that it's already happening sort of on the 21st, but now it's just exact on the 22nd. And so it's just the same thing that I've already said here. So we're going to move on here. And we're going to back the time up a little bit, still a 22nd. And just depending on where you live, I'm looking at Central Time here. So you just have to really translate it or correlate it to your time, right? So once that moon comes into Scorpio, it will be making a good aspect to Saturn, right? This moon down here in Scorpio is going to make a trine to Saturn. And I really like this energy because when it comes to our desires and that we're emotionally wanting and our emotional needs or just emotional things that we want and that we desire with passion and intensity, we can actually start to work toward that, right? Saturn is providing us the structure in Pisces to be able to go deep into manifesting that. It's giving the strong emotions an outlet. Right, so we can connect here. Later on through the day, we're going to have the moon square Venus and oppose Jupiter. And that's at the end of the day. And keep in mind, again, I'm looking at Central Time. So let's go to 11, basically. So this is going to be happening at 11 p.m. You see here the moon squaring Venus and also opposing Jupiter, right? And moon square Venus is not it doesn't feel the greatest, honestly, because this moon in Scorpio is really desiring what it wants and very passionate about what it wants, willing to do what it needs to do to get it. But it's squaring this Venus, and Venus is pleasure, harmony, cooperation. And Leo deals with our happiness, our self-expression, things in life with this Venus and Leo that make us happy, really. That make us feel like we can step fully into our self-expression. And this square here is almost as if we could be feeling like, damn, like I'm not getting what it is that I want, or I don't have what it is that I want, or things aren't fair. The needs that we're looking for aren't being met, possibly, or aren't being provided. Right, remember what I said, Venus is still squaring Jupiter. And I think this is important to be aware of this too, because this is where we can, again, like we can be overindulgent and extreme, or reckless with our spending, possibly, or whatever the case might be, trying to keep up with the Joneses. And if you fall into the shadow of this, then you're definitely going to be feeling this moon in Scorpio of like, shit, I don't have what I need, or I don't have anything. Or losing shit that you could have kept, right? And it's interesting too, because this moon is opposing Jupiter at the same time. So the lesson really here is Jupiter and Taurus. It's like, yes, it's like, in order for us to really, we need to learn how to be more prosperous. We need to learn how to I'd say we need to learn how to be more prosperous here. That's what Jupiter's trying to teach the moon right now, trying to show the moon is, in order for you to grow and expand, you got to start to create the prosperity that you want in your life. And I'm not just talking about material prosperity. I'm talking about emotional prosperity, because really prosperity is an inward thing, how one feels, right? Because if somebody were to give you $1 million, and let's just say you're lazy and you never do anything, and then they give you $1 million, you wouldn't know how to manage that $1 million, right? If you don't have the skills, if you don't have the experience with the creation of a certain type of value, which is the $1 million I'm talking about, you won't really know how to manage it anyways, right? And so that's why Taurus is endurance, what it takes to endure to prosper. And that's what Jupiter's trying to show us with this moon. It's like, damn, we're feeling like we want we want what we want. And this is going to inflate that, right? Jupiter's going to inflate that. And we're going to feel like, damn, like, what do we do? Well, what we can do is we can start to learn Jupiter, because Jupiter deals with wisdom. Your ability to be teachable. So, but this is really where we can drive ourselves into this moon and Scorpio hole, because of the square to Venus, right? The square to Venus right here, making a T squared. It's where we get pissed off, mad. We can let our emotions take over and destroy things, but we don't need to do that. We need to learn how to create Jupiter. So, all right, my friends, let's go to the next transit here. Or actually, the next day. All right, let's go to the next day. We are on August 23rd. So August 23rd, which will be a Wednesday. And this day, Mercury retrograde begins and the sun comes into Virgo. So let's back this up here. Let's go to the actual day. The 23rd. Let's go to the hour here. Okay, so here we go. Now this sun is going to come into Virgo. The exact time the sun comes into Virgo will be 3:58 a.m. Right now I have it at 4:10 a.m. But you can see down here, the sun is now in Virgo. So the sun's leaving Leo and coming into Virgo. And Virgo deals with the practical intellect. And so there's a stellium of energy here in regards to Virgo. We got the sun in Virgo, Mercury is there, and we also have Mars. So the Virgo energy is very potent and powerful at this time. And like, again, Virgo is about being practical, being productive, being efficient, learning how to manage things, learning how to organize things better, learning how to make use of our time and get our tasks done. And, really, and all that really requires patience and attending to the little things that make the subtle differences. So there it is, that sun in Virgo. And also as well, today Mercury goes retrograde, and that will be at 2:59 p.m. So let's back this up a second. Let's actually go forward. All right. So here we go. Mercury is now in retrograde up here in Virgo. And like I said, I don't really think this Mercury retrograde is going to be too bad. Honestly, I don't. In regards to, feeling like it's going to be horrible or whatever, I think things will be okay. I really do. But yes, this is the exact time of the day it'll go retrograde, and it'll be retrograde until, how long does Mercury retrograde actually? All the way until September 5th, or September 15th. Mercury will be retrograde. So let's take a look at what else is going on this day. All right, so let's back up this time here. And as we can see really quickly, we'll talk about the moon and then I'll get into all the other things. So let's back this up, my friends. Let's go here. So starting off here, we have moon sextile Mercury, and the exact time for this will be 12:03. However, on here it's 12:10 p.m. and this is Central Time again. So you just have to correlate it and translate it to the time to your time zone. So we got moon sextile Mercury. I like this here. This moon in Scorpio, it's not too bad of its journey through Scorpio, but this is a good aspect right here, right? So this is good. Before Mercury goes retrograde, we're getting Mercury sextile the moon, right? Because Mercury will go retrograde 3 hours after this, like 4 hours, 3-4 hours after this. So we're getting this moon making a sextile to Mercury. And so this is the last couple of hours to where everything is really stopped. And, it'll start here soon, with Mercury, it'll start to go backwards, right? It's such a retrograde. But I like this because we sort of know this is just going to allow us to be able to understand here, right? Because so this moon in Scorpio is going to, yes, we want the things that we want, and we're feeling very passionate. And Mercury here is like, we're starting to understand what it is that we need to do in regards to, starting to take those steps toward creating what it is that we want to create here. So really, this is just an energy of the mind and the emotions are on the same page. We understand what we're feeling and we know what to do with it. We understand what the energy is like and what's going on, and we know what to do with it. Sometimes I can make things a little bit too complicated. I think a part of me with my Mars possibly in the 8th house and my Mercury in the 9th is like I kind of want to just like go into like the deepest depth of like information. And sometimes it doesn't have to be that deep for people just to understand some things. So that's kind of like one of my flaws, if you want to call that a flaw. All right, so yeah, so we have this moon sextile Mercury, and then later on through the day, we're going to be having the moon that's going to oppose Uranus here. So this moon is going to oppose Uranus. You see it right here. And the moon will oppose Uranus, and that's going to be at... What time will that be at? At 2:18 p.m. Central Time. So Uranus is the master of transformations, right? Uranus is that, it's the sudden urge or the sudden pivots or the sudden unexpected things, right? Uranus is all about innovation, right? But with the Uranus, things come suddenly. And so what's really going on again is like this moon in Scorpio, again, wants what it wants. We want what it is that we want. And we're feeling very passionate about what we want. And we're willing to do what it is that we need to do to get what it is that we want. And Uranus is directly confronting it, right? Uranus is like, okay, you want to have the great things in life. You want to be prosperous here with Taurus. You're going to have to innovate. And if change comes in, you're going to have to accept the change here. Because Uranus is also unpredictable. So things could happen unpredictably. It's not anything to be scared of or anything like that. It's just like, things come in and it's like, oh, okay, well, like, I gotta innovate. I gotta change things. I gotta do things differently. So you just want to look at and see like where all these transits are going on in your chart, right? So, because we can sit in harbor with this moon in Scorpio, right? Because moon in Scorpio is intense. I have moon in Scorpio. You can't tell I'm wearing a Nightmare on Elm Street shirt. I'm a Leo sun with a Scorpio moon and a Scorpio rising. So I know very well this energy. And sometimes moon and Scorpio like can sit and dwell in a very intense emotion because it desires certain things. But sometimes it can be detrimental because Scorpio is, that energy can be very destructive rather than creative, which is the opposite of Scorpio is Taurus, which is creation, creative, creating. So we have to like take that powerful life force energy of this moon in Scorpio and start to change some things and not be afraid of change when they come. And innovate. So, all right, let's go to the next one. We got Moon trining Neptune, and then we're gonna have the Moon sextile Mars. And this is all building up to a very potent initiation as Mars is getting very close to trining Pluto. It's pretty much already there, but the exact trine will be on the 24th. So let's take a look at this, my friends. So let's take a look at Moon trine Neptune really quick. And that will be, let's take a look here. That's going to be... That's going to be 9:32 p.m. Central Time. And as you can see here, this moon in Scorpio is making that trine to Neptune. So actually, this moon in Scorpio, once it kind of gets off the square from Venus, it starts to kind of get better. So, this moon making that good aspect to Neptune here, the trine to Neptune, is going to allow us to be able to channel our energies into, again, creating newer things, right? Because, and this is also going to enhance the imagination. This is going to enhance the desire here. And it's through this creativity energy, through this imagination right here with this Neptune and Pisces, that we can start to go deeper into our awareness of what we ideally want. And also, too, this moon is making a sextile to Pluto. And so, moon sextile Pluto, well, if we look at this moon, it's in Scorpio, and the dispositor Scorpio is Pluto. Right? And also, the dispositor Scorpio is Mars, and this moon is also making a sextile to Mars. So there's a sextile to Pluto, and there's a sextile to Mars. And so this is getting us ready for the initiation. What is the initiation? I'll say, well, when Mars makes that trine to Pluto, that's initiation. And it's already pretty much happening. Mars is pretty much over, pretty much right there. This is 27 degrees, and I don't know why this is here. It won't let me erase whatever this is, but this, this is Pluto at 28. So this is a big emotional release and transformation here. Right? What do we need to let go in our lives that aren't allowing us to really, like, what are the barriers and the limitations and the structures and just the old foundations of things and the old outdated ways of things that need to be let go of and replaced with something new, so that way we can continuously strive to be successful, to have a system with Capricorn that works in our life. Now, Pluto's still retrograde, so, we can start to understand this more with that initiation and all this energy of change. But things have not come together fully cohesively yet until Pluto goes direct. But this transformation, I would say, is very necessary. And obviously one that is cosmically happening. So anyways, so let's go ahead and move on here. All right, let's go to the 24th here. And this, and again, like this Mars and where my mouse is, this Mars and Moon sextile, this is giving us rhythm and focus. Right? The Moon is rhythm, and when Mars comes in, and it can work with the Moon, because Mars is the maverick and it's independent and it does its own thing, and the Moon is kind of, and not to mention that Mars is in Virgo, so Mars is very much working with practical tools and has to be practical. And the Moon kind of goes through its phases. Think of the ocean, the waves, But because of the harmonious aspect, there's rhythm here that we have, and we're starting to understand the rhythm of things. And the emotions are falling into line perfectly and lining up with our will to want to take action and change things with Pluto. So let's go to the 24th, and this is the day of initiation. So Mars trine Pluto will be at 7:22 p.m. Central Time. And this is the day of initiation here. And I know this is kind of not the most perfect presentation. It's Mars opposed Neptune. I'm just going with the flow while also trying to be practical. But I'm realizing like it's just not going to turn out perfect. But as long as you show up and do your best with what it is that you're doing in your life, then that's all that really counts. And it's through that deepening of awareness of letting go and not being so hands-on OCD that, you know, we start to understand that not everything in life is going to be perfect. So it's okay to let go sometimes and be flowy. Anyways, so here we go. Mars and Pluto. Now, Pluto is actually the higher octave of Mars. And so, again, like this is just perfect because it's a harmonious energy that will allow us and show us where the transformation lies. And this is going to bring definitely a focus of concentration as well, this Mars and Pluto, and a very strong will, very strong willpower to really follow through and commit to making the changes. So let's back up a little bit on this day. That's just the planet, the transit that I wanted to show you. So let's talk about the moon, what the moon's doing this day. So let's back this up. So the moon's going to be entering into Sag at 3 a.m. this day. Now I'm a little bit ahead. I was a little bit ahead, right? So I got to kind of back this up. But I just wanted to show you what Mars was doing for the day. And it's how it's a day of initiation. And it's interesting as well. One thing really quickly is that, remember I was just talking about how Mars is opposing Neptune while also, you know, making its trine to Pluto. So now that Mars is coming off of Neptune and, you know, starting to trine Pluto, it's like, yes, things are a bit confusing in regards to like how we can be more efficient and productive and trying to figure things out with the Mars opposed Neptune, the fog that Neptune is sort of throwing in, metaphorically speaking. But now since it's coming off, we're starting to be able to see a little bit more. And we just have to really listen and feel and go with our intuition as well. It's like we're starting to see how we can take the efficient action and you know, and initiate things. But it's still a little bit blurry. But so we kind of have to rely a little bit on intuition too. So, but here we go. This moon is in Sagittarius now, and this is at 3 a.m. Right now, this is before Mars trine Pluto, right? That I already talked about. But I just wanted to back up and show you that the moon is now coming into Sag. But this moon in Sag is not going to be having the easiest time at all. It's going to be squaring a lot of things, and you know, yeah. So let's actually go to that transit. The moon's going to square the sun, right? So this is the first quarter moon that's happening, right? When the moon squares the sun for the first time after the new moon. So this first quarter square is happening, and this, it's like, you know, the moon in Sagittarius is all about the adventure, right? Look at on the screen. That Sagittarius is the arrow, right? The archer. It wants to go out and expand and aim and go for bigger and better things and feeling optimistic and happy and go lucky, and that's the energy that is here with the moon and that we're feeling. However, with the square to the sun, it's like, okay, we can't really do that because we have to take care of things in a more practical way. Right? We have to attend to something else. We have to understand how to be patient and practical. Right? And so that's where we can feel the discomfort and where the harmony with our emotions and the reality of things, you know, not on the same page. Right. So That moon will square the sun, and also the moon is going to progress throughout the day, and it's going to square Saturn. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. My bad. This is very Neptune. Very Neptune. All right. Let's actually back this up, my friends. All right. And so after that moon squares the sun, this moon is going to square Saturn. So again, it's like we need to deepen our awareness into the present moment and listen to our intuition when we feel emotionally blocked here, right? When we feel emotionally blocked, because we can't really go expand outward like we want to emotionally. You know, Saturn's here, you know, we have to deepen our awareness. It's a block for a reason, and it's to show us where we need to surrender and come back to the present moment and deepen our awareness in the present moment. Because there's something that's going to block the moon here, and it's something that we may not really know, and so we might think we knew with this moon, but we didn't, or we don't, and we have to understand what it is through Pisces, the depth, going deeper into our awareness. That's going to show us the way. Okay. So moving on here, August 25th, and I just want to kind of take a look here and see where we're at as far as time. Okay, perfect. We're right on schedule. I'm a bit newer to this, using the software, kind of talking through transits and going and explaining it. So, you know, excuse me if everything isn't perfect, but with Virgo, it's about getting better and better every day, and it's not giving up on yourself. Right? It's about that little progress adds up. Better and better every day. The people that don't want to get better and better every day, and they're like, oh, I just don't have the patience for that, they slip into the Pisces energy of like procrastination, fantasizing, feeling lost, everything's meaningless, I can't do it, blah, 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 blah. Shit. All right. I don't even know why I'm laughing, honestly. Let me actually put this on the screen. All right, here we go. So back to where we were at. So let's go to the 25th of August. Right, August 25th. Now we still have that Mars trine Pluto going on, right? And so this moon that's in Sagittarius will actually make a trine to Venus. And so we kind of get a little bit of a break after those squares, right? We get a little bit of a break after those squares here with the moon making a trine to Venus, and that's going to bring in some harmony here. Venus is retrograde, so this is more so about really us sort of coming back to understand like inner harmony. I don't think it's really anything new that is causing the harmony or causing, or like, you know, it's almost as if it's already things that we have or that we know of. But, you know, this is a feel-good moment to where we can feel good about our creations and wanting to create here with Venus. Especially with that Mars Pluto, right? Because Venus and Mars represent the dyad of sex, which, you know, I'm not talking about literal sex although it is that too, but it's more so about, it gives birth to all creativity, right? Venus is the seed, Mars is the germination, right? Is the process of germination of the seed, right? And through that springs forth creation, right? Which is babies, which is art, which is all things that have been created. So yeah, so I mean, this is definitely us making way for new creations, and I think really it's through the transformation of us initiating change and being focused and ready. I think that's the feel good. But either way, this is grace and harmony right here. So now, after that moon does square, and that's going to be happening at 4:26 a.m. right? Exact. And now we're going to have, that's what we're getting for the day, and then we're going to have the moon square Mercury. And that's going to be around 5:10 p.m. Central Time, right? So if we take a look here, we can start to see that, for the ones that want the exact time, the moon will square Mercury at 5:42 p.m. So, but you can see here on the chart, this moon is squaring Mercury. And I have Mercury square my moon. And this, it's, what's going on is the mind and the intellect is having a hard time understanding what's going on in our inner world, or what's going on with our emotions. It's hard to articulate your emotions. It can be hard to articulate your emotions. It can be hard to sort of communicate maybe your needs, or just to sort of understand how to adjust sometimes. And so I always say with this, like, this too shall pass, right? Because moon transits, give it like 4 hours and it's, it's off, right? It's kind of over, right? The moon moves a degree every 2 hours. So, this too shall pass. Don't drive yourself crazy. If something isn't making sense right now, you don't know how to make sense of something, just wait until you feel ready, or until you understand it later. But trying to stress yourself out and trying to articulate it and figure it out, especially with Mercury in retrograde square this moon in Sag, it's just it's just going to drive you mad. So this too shall pass. Give it time. Give the moon time to come off of it, and then things will be a lot more clear. All right, moving on to the 26th here. This is the day of the buildup of the sun opposing Saturn, and this is going to be the last day of Mars that will be in Virgo until it comes into Libra on August 27th. But there's a lot going on this day with the moon. Pretty much all moon transits until we get the exact, sun opposed Saturn, which is, like I said, on the 27th. So let's actually go to this really quick. All right, here we go. So, all right. So early in the morning, just depending on where you live, maybe you won't even feel these transits because you'll probably be asleep, but maybe you'll experience them in your dreams. But yeah, so let's talk about it. So, this is still on that. Hold on. So let's start off this first transit of the day. So we're going to have the moon square Neptune. If you sleep at this time, you're probably going to have some wild dreams, because Neptune does deal with the dream world, so, and the astral world and all that shit. So, but anyways, let's take a look at this. So moon square Neptune, this is confusion again. This is when we can easily be influenced too emotionally. So in this transit will be the exact time of this transit will be 2:48 a.m. Central Time, of course. This is where we can kind of fall prey and be easily influenced by something that is an illusion, right? This is also where people will project onto you emotionally, or maybe possibly where you'll project as well, because we're all dealing with this, right? And Moon square to Neptune, like any type of square to Neptune can deal with projection elements. So just be aware of that. If something doesn't make sense, then it's probably not true. If something seems too good to be true, then it probably is. But this Moon square Neptune, it's like, don't allow yourself to fall, to be influenced by weird illusions or, fool's gold in a way. That's where people start to lie a lot too. People start to lie a lot, or they start just try to manipulate you, right? If you have a sense that somebody's manipulating you, they are. Or gaslighting you, they are. Moon square Neptune, yeah, they are. But don't let your emotions become clouded by this here. If you need to wait a little bit to do something, or to think something through, or to kind of ponder on something, give yourself the time and the grace to do that. All right. So let's go to the moon squaring Mars. This moon is getting beat up in Sagittarius. Like, I feel bad, whoever has a moon in Sag. This moon's going to square Mars. Right here. Boom. Moon's going to square Mars, and that'll be at 6:55 a.m. Central Time. And so, Moon square Mars. This is where frustration is going to come as a result, right? So, we're already confused with the moon square that was squaring Neptune. And then this is where we can get kind of angry because Mars is in the mix now. And why we're angry is because we're trying to figure out and identify how to take action in an efficient, productive way, or in the way that makes the most sense. But it's almost as if what's causing the frustration possibly of this, it's also where people have road rage as well. So be aware of that. This is where road rage comes out and all types of shit. People kind of having explosive emotions and acting impulsively, flying off the rails, our tempers flaring. It's because our emotions are wanting to go. Right? We believe what we believe, and we kind of want to go where we want to go. But when it comes to taking action, it's like we're having to be patient. So impatience, I feel, will be the catalyst of frustration. And things that are not practical. All right, let's go to the next transit. Now the moon will come into Capricorn at 8:06 a.m. So we're finally done with all the craziness with the moon in Sag. Now the moon is officially in Capricorn, and I like this moon in Capricorn because it's going to give us the grounding that we need after that moon in Sag. And even though it's in its detriment, there's enough good aspects here for this moon to really be able to thrive. And the good aspects are, of course, this moon is going to make a sextile to Saturn, and that will be at 2:38 p.m. and also at the same time the moon will trine the sun, and that actually happened a little bit earlier at 1:38 p.m. So 1:38 p.m. moon will trine the sun, and then at 2:38 p.m. the moon will sextile Saturn. And so we can just already see this happening. We don't have to go to the exact time. This moon right here making that sextile to Saturn, and then the moon making a trine to the sun. So harmoniously, we can adjust quite easily, or more easily now, given that our emotions are wanting to be put into being productive with the sun and Virgo, and we're wanting to channel it into the structures that we're trying to create, or into building better structure, right? And that sextile to Saturn, this is going to give us again the outlet even more to get into the flow, I would say, and deepen our awareness, and especially when it comes to creating the things that we're visualizing or the things that we envision, right? And it's interesting with this too, because the moon would much rather be in Pisces than Capricorn, because moon in Capricorn is in detriment, and Saturn would much rather be in Capricorn than Pisces, because Saturn is dignified in Capricorn. But these two understand each other even more so, not only just because there's a sextile, but because of, well, the planets and the signs. And so this is where we can create magic. This is where we can tap into mystical sea goat energy with, Capricorn. And we can start to really thrive and get things going and be productive and start to feel in tune with things. So, all right, last but not least, here we go. Last day here, we have first the sun that's going to oppose Saturn. This is going to be August 27th. Let's go to the chart, which is going to be happening at 3:27 a.m. And here we go. We have this sun opposed Saturn. Now, this is going to be a day towards, where confusion is definitely going to be the resistance. Something may feel off intuitively, or we may feel blocked, or there may even be a delay or delays with things. And again, I think it's important to go with the flow with this sun opposed Saturn in Pisces, because yes, it's like we're all trying to be practical, like I keep saying, and we're trying to find the productive ways of doing things, of being efficient and getting our to-do list done. But the Saturn in Pisces is putting the brakes on us being productive, right? Maybe it's through some sort of confusion, or something is delayed. It's something that it may stop us, because it's calling our attention to the present moment a little bit more, so we can deepen our awareness and figure out what it is that is blocking us. And once that is solved, then we can get back to the Virgo energy of being productive, right? And sometimes we may not know, and so, or maybe something is delayed, and so we can't. So it's just taking some time, right? And also, too, this is where you really need to listen to your intuition, right? And you have to really follow your own vision quest. You got to be on your own vision quest with this Saturn in Pisces. Listen to your intuition. Something feels off, or you feel intuitively inclined to maybe do something else, or you just feel intuitively about something and it kind of goes against the practical nature of everything. That's something to pay attention to. And again, it's so you can pay attention, deepen your awareness with it, because it may be leading you to something better, or it may be trying to show you something. So, last but not least, my friends, for the 27th, we have Mars entering Libra, and that's going to be at early in the morning, 8:15 a.m. And now Mars is officially in Libra, and its detriment, which is, And not only that is it in its detriment in Libra, but it's also with the South Node. And Mars in the South Node is no bueno. Because what I really see here, especially with this Pluto in the mix, still kind of bending those nodes, right? What I'm seeing here is this is a tricky one because Mars in Libra, it's in detriment because, you know, it's dignified in Aries and it's in its opposite sign in Libra. But it also being with the South Node, a lot about, I feel, relationships are going to pop up, and also where it is that we're giving our power away, right? And honestly, where we're giving our power away, it's going to show us where we keep repeating the same patterns or habits in relationships, or maybe our relationship with certain things. Because the South Node is, you know, it deals with a lot with karmic things and patterns that need to be broken, things that need to be understood more deeply. And and the South Node is also like it's like the easy way out, but the easy way out is, you know, keeps giving you the same result over and over and over and over, right? And so it's interesting because we're going to have to learn how to be more brave and courageous and more independent with the North Node and Aries as much as we can, you know, and start to understand like where we can actually do things ourselves rather than rely on other people, or rather than, you know, waiting for somebody to come save us or trying to save somebody else. So be aware of that here. I think it's interesting too with this Mars and Libra that it's, with it being in the South Node, it's almost as if we have to really understand, okay, I need balance and harmony in my life in order for me to really operate and be the most efficient with my energy. And it's the things in your life that are causing a disruption to that, whether it's relationships or your relationship to something or whatever the case might be. And understanding, like, in order for me to have peace, in order for me to have balance, in order for things to go harmonious, right? I may have to, you know, not be afraid to end certain things, to stop things, whether it's relationships or whatever the case might be. Right? Because it's where, you know, you can feel like stepping on eggshells, especially if you're in a relationship as well, where you're stepping on eggshells or you're feeling like, you know, like you have to be sensitive to everybody else's needs and you're totally ignoring yours. I'm all about equality. I have North Node in Libra. That's what I'm learning. That's what I want ultimately. Right? So it's like you have to understand where things are like unbalanced, and yes, it's like you want equality, but you can't. Nobody's coming to save you, basically, with this Mars and Libra in the South Node. You got to save yourself with that North Node Aries, and everything that is trying to hold you back and all these things. You got to understand, like, you have to operate in order for you to be efficient and have harmony and balance, and, you know, in your life. It's like you're gonna have to understand that, you know, not be afraid to end certain things, and also, you know, to sort of go define your own needs, which we're all still figuring that out with Venus and Leo retrograde. So So that's what I got for you all. I hope that helped. Let me actually pull this back up here. Boom, there we go. So I hope that helped. I can't believe the first video I did was like 2 hours long. I had no idea. I was just kind of in the flow and in the moment. It was just too long though. It was like way too long. It would have took me forever to upload. And I was like, you know what? I could probably just do it more efficiently and better. And I just had to kind of go with the flow. It's like, you know, Mars opposed Neptune. And by all means, this was very much a Mars opposed Neptune sort of presentation. But you show up and you do your best. And it's through the shortcomings or through whatever the case may be that you just kind of go with the flow of things and not stress yourself out too much. So anyways, I appreciate you all. And I'm going to pull an animal card first before we leave. For the ones that don't know, I'm actually a tarot reader as well. So if you're newer to this channel. You have this elephant card. It says honor, empathy, responsibility, and cooperation. So I'm going to leave it on that note. Thank you all for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Click the notification button bell as well. You'll get notified whenever I start to upload more content on this channel. I'm already in the process of doing so. As of today, I'm starting, you know, maybe I could wait. Maybe I could have waited for Mars to come off of Neptune and then start to trine Pluto a little bit more. But it's like intuitively, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to kind of go with it and see, and, you know, and not be so, you know, anal about things. Right. So anyways, I hope this helped. And yeah, thank you for being here, and I'll see y'all later.